Government of Guyana says it has no confidence in the Guyana-Suriname Border Commission and insists Suriname's recent utterance surrounds a claim to the Corentyne River and not a right.
President Barry Jagdeo expresses optimism that the national electricity situation will return to a degree of normalcy by next week.
And government says the fine print of the EPA dictates that CARIFORUM governments invest significant sums before benefiting from EU funding to implement the agreement.
The details of these and other stories, business news, and of course the latest sporting action in the Diamond Mineral Water and NCN Sport News and more after these. Good evening, I'm Delicia Fletcher.
And I'm Paul Moore.
With this edition of the 6 o'clock news for today, Friday, October 24, 2008. Here's what's happening, Paul.
Thanks, Delicia. Government has expressed concern about the process of sale of the Le Méridien Pegasus Hotel, of which the National Insurance Scheme is a minority shareholder. In a press release, the entity, through its representative, National Industrial and Commercial Investments Limited, stated that it was not aware of the reduction in sale price and implications for its value. According to the company, it was advised of the transaction between an overseas-based company by a Starman representative. The conditions of sale require that any share transfer must be approved by its board, of which the NIS has a representative. Government says, despite reports of an executed purchase agreement, this has not been done and it will continue to raise its concerns until the matter is resolved. Cabinet Secretary Dr. Roger Luncheon says the government of Guyana has no confidence in the way issues are resolved in the Guyana-Suriname Border Commission. This is Dr. Luncheon's answer to Suriname, which proposed that Guyana take up its concerns with the joint body. Here's Janelle Passad with more.
Suriname has replied to Guyana's note verbal with the claim that the Corentyne River is theirs and that Guyana should take up its concerns with the Joint Border Commission. But Foreign Affairs Minister Carolyn Rodrigues believes that this is a claim, not a right. She notes too that there is no agreement with the Dutch-speaking country on the Corentyne River and whose it is.
But in the absence of any agreement with Suriname on the river, we are of the view that they cannot institute regulations without some sort of consultations with us. And that is our position. In our note verbal to Suriname, we had said we are open for discussions. They have responded saying that the Corentyne River belongs to them and they are free to institute regulations.
Guyana convened the last meeting of the Border Commission in 2003, and the minister says it is now Suriname's responsibility to call the next meeting. But Cabinet Secretary Dr. Roger Luncheon said today that government has no confidence in the pronouncements of that body.
Indeed, the record would show that there is some limit to which the Commission has, over the years of conflict, been able to conclusively resolve matters. And an evident example is our resort ultimately to international law and dealing with the tribunal to address one such dispute.
The media solicited a comment from the Surinamese ambassador to Guyana, Manorma Suknandan, who said there was no aggression involved in the matter, a position that Guyana still holds.
Well, we have stated on several occasions that it was an act of aggression, and I think the details are known in terms of how the boat was detained. Our people were charged for illegal immigration, and among other things. And so we maintain that if you come and you take them to your country, how could they be charged for illegal immigration, like I said, among the other charges?
Guyana was forced to move to the international courts after an earlier dispute with Suriname. The final decision was given for the most part in Guyana's favor, and Foreign Affairs Minister Rodrigues Burkett says Guyana may have to go that route again, but this has to first be agreed to by both countries. Whatever the case, the minister believes that this has now become an economic issue for Guyana, which has to be speedily resolved. Reporting for the NCN 6 o'clock news, I am Janelle Persad.
President Barry Jagdeo has expressed optimism that the national electricity situation will return to a degree of normalcy by next week. This comes after discussions with Guyana Power and Light CEO Barrett Dindial. More in this report.
President Barry Jagdeo says he is greatly concerned about the ongoing electricity issues across the country and has mandated Prime Minister Samuel Hines to urgently look into the matter.
They have had some slight improvements. Hopefully by next week the situation could return to some level of normalcy, and I've already asked the chairman of the board to make plans to probably bring in some additional sets for the Christmas period.
He has expressed hope that by May of next year all electricity problems should be resolved. This is in light of the establishment of a 20-megawatt power plant at Kingston.
So that should substantially improve the power situation, and hopefully by that time the Skeldon factory will be working. We'll be supplying the grid from bagasse, energy from bagasse, and also with the 10 megawatts heavy fuel oil unit on standby, we should have adequate power in the system.
The Guyana Power and Light Company recently admitted that the power demand in the country exceeded the amount which could be supplied. This, coupled with mechanical failures, resulted in severe blackouts in Georgetown, Berbice and other areas. However, Chief Executive Officer Barrett Dindial had indicated that GPL would try to sustain its operations until intermediate plans get underway next year. Reporting for the 6 o'clock news, I'm Shard Lal.
The autopsy report of Akila Jacobs of NCN has been released and proves that she died from 2 broken legs, both arms being broken ribs and a punctured lung. Akila, who was involved in a tragic smash-up at Amelia's ward last Saturday, will be buried tomorrow at West Berbice. The body of the dead 23-year-old journalist will be at Merriman's funeral home for viewing from 9 to 9:45 hours, then to the St. George's Cathedral at 10 hours for the tribute and funeral service. Thereafter, she will be taken to the St. Gabriel's Church Hall at number 28 Village, West Coast, Berbice, for further viewing and burial. Meanwhile, 2 of the survivors, Nazim Mohammed and June Ann Amsterdam, both of NCN, were discharged while Ravina Gilhari remains hospitalized. Amsterdam received injuries to her left eye, laceration to the right forearm, puncture to her left leg and a fractured left wrist, while Mohammed suffered a broken left arm, a semi-fractured finger and a blow to the left temple.